There was a comment to do an update video on these ponds. And actually it was one pond when I posted the first video, which it might have been May, I can't remember. Now it's two because they've had babies. They do eat most of their babies, but plenty survive. I started with a male and 8 females, and some of them were pregnant, so I wouldn't really, after bringing some of these in the house and observing them in the tank for a couple weeks, I wouldn't really recommend less than 1 male to 4 females because the males are so harassing, but I certainly didn't need more than that. So it's gotten down into the 50s, and I'm starting to remove some of the floating plants as they start to melt. I have hornwort and water sprite in there. They're still alive at this point. I'm not sure how long they're gonna keep going once it gets to be winter. I have 1 house plant left. I took another one in to start the 10-gallon tank that I'm raising some of these babies in. I use plants for my filtration in my fish tanks. So I also took out the dayflowers that were planted around this because as it's gotten cold, they've started to wilt and rot at the bottom. Got another house plant in there. Those are going to have to come out. I haven't made a decision about whether I'm going to winter all of these over yet because I have a friend who will take them. And I have some, like I said, in the house I've been raising up in a 10-gallon tank. So I'm not sure. The issue with these in terms of any maintenance is not doing water changes. I do top off evaporation. For the most part, they get topped off by rainwater. The big issue with these here, because it's so hot, is I need to have them in the shade. And everywhere that's shady has tons of falling leaves, of course. So I'm out here picking out leaves and dead leaves and all kinds of stuff that sit on the top, acorns. But that's not a hassle. That's not a lot of maintenance, obviously, but I don't really want to be doing that after mosquito season. So I could put one of these on the porch and then just top off evaporation. But that's also something I may forget to do. So I'm not sure how I'm going to handle this. I have learned a few things from keeping them in the house. The top of the tank had been, the top of both of these totes had been nearly filled with floating plants, and they don't really like that. They want to cruise around and skim the surface. Since they're insectivores, they have those upturned mouths, and they will also sit and hover almost like as a school, motionless, waiting for something to hit the surface, and they'll all be facing the same direction, just waiting for it. So I wanted to give them more access to the surface. There were a lot of things I noticed in the tank that were interesting, that sort of have informed certain things about this fish. Another thing is, I think everything that I've read about these fish being really hard to kill in terms of water parameters and conditions is probably true. Because there's a fish in a 10-gallon tank on my porch that I didn't realize was in there because I rounded up a bunch before I brought them in the house, and I filled up a 10-gallon tank that was just sitting there. It's been 2 months and this fry has grown and the water is awful, and there's been no top off because it doesn't even get rainwater because it's on the porch, and I'll show you that. So the fish gets spooked. The one that ended up in here by mistake, it gets spooked when I come near the tank and it hides. But it's about 1/2 inch long. I'm guessing it was a tiny fry that I didn't see. The plants are going fine, but the water's got a really nice layer of scum that's probably impeding a lot of oxygen exchange, and I'm gonna get them out after this video. But yeah, I'd say these fish are fairly bomb-proof.